Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the list method in Python. So let's get started. So before we start doing any programming, the list method is not a list like this. The list method actually converts things into lists. So let's see how. So the syntax of the list method is list, parentheses, iterable. And I don't know if you just saw what happened, but as I was typing it in, VS Code, it was giving me information about the list method. Here, let me try it again. List, and see, look. List, and inside that you put in an iterable, and it basically gives you information about this method. If no argument is given, the constructor creates a new empty list, and the argument must be an iterable if specified. And it is the constructor is a method that creates an object based on the data that's passed into it. And you might be confused at what I just said, and don't worry. Python is an object-oriented language, which means that it has a lot of objects, and everything revolves around objects. Like a list is an object, a string is an object, an int is an object, and so on. Alright, so now that we have the syntax down, let's try creating a list. But first, I'll create a string called A, and inside that, I'll put apples. And now let me do B is equal to list parentheses A. You can't just pass in apples instead of A. You can't do this because that's not what the list method accepts. So that's why you have to go like A. I'm gonna print out B, print B, and now I'm gonna run this, and I see that APPLES. So the list method created a list full of the characters in this string. And the same thing works with other iterables. So if I create a tuple, inside that I'll just pass in 1, 2, 3. And if you didn't know, a tuple is basically a list except you can't change it. So let me run this, and it still works because a tuple is an iterable. And you might know the answer to this, but if you've paid attention to this video, you probably know the answer to what I'm gonna ask right now. You probably know the answer to what's gonna happen right now. So what if I just create A and I set it equal to list and parentheses, but I don't put anything inside of the list? So if you've paid attention to this video so far, you probably know what happens. So let's see if you were correct. So now I'm gonna print out A, and we get an empty list. So whatever I showed you right now, those were just some simple examples of how you can use the list method, but the list method can be used in a lot of things. And it usually gets used the most whenever someone's passing in data to you in the form of an iterable, and you want to convert it into a list just to make it easier to work with, because maybe you prefer lists. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below, or just Google list method Python. Well, that's it for this video, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.